water ran on this side. So I've never, ever had a water drainage problem out here. I've lived here almost 24 years. We're here and ran on this side of the railroad ties.
Oh, okay.
On the road side.
Okay.
So it wasn't a drainage problem. Look at these roots now.
But all the sediment's already there. They're going to come and keep.
You know, if a car were to get over into here, this now is really a safety issue. Because these are
Quite real soft, isn't it, Terry?
any more slippage to be able to occur. I want it stabilized. Right now it's not. I want mulch, organic matter, soil replacer on the roots of all my trees, because my trees are all now in danger. I want this current water problem that they created, I want that fixed. And I want this trailer road, this road of mine, I want that fixed. That's got to be either gravel, soil.
Yeah, we pulled into it and bottomed out.
Of course you did. That's got to be fixed. I have people living down there that cannot be expected to have to put up with this. That needs fixed quickly. I would like my front yard area where I have to walk to my mailbox. I'd like for that to become either with a step or something down to the road that I can safely go from my yard to my mailbox without fear of slipping and falling. I would like for them to be able to, they can never replace what I had there, but I'd like for them to plant some kind of vegetation along that bank to preserve it, to keep it from causing stress fractures on my property. The way it is right now, my own property now really is in danger of stress fractures. All those trees that are along there now can end up in the road, where before they were not. I want ongoing tree examination to see that the trees are safe. And I would like to have some of the visual beauty that I had worked so hard to maintain restored to this area. When you go from beautification to uglification, there are numbers and numbers and numbers of people that have said to me how ugly it is now compared to what it was.
Well, Canterbury told me yesterday that they weren't finished, but what that means, he said it would be a couple months before they got back out. But what that means, I don't know.
Tear it up in the middle of winter.
Can I ask a question?
And I don't know why it's particularly there's more work to be done, why it isn't this way.
Can I ask a question? Not knowing the first thing about the county engineer's department, is Mike Canterbury engineering these projects? Is he the one that is determining the work that needs to be done? And is he the one that's then executing the work order on under his own authority?
That I couldn't answer honestly. I think he probably does a lot of work without Archie's knowing of it.
Oversight?
Yeah.
And isn't Archie Stanley
He's one
the county engineer
Yeah, that's where the
who is
buck's at.
qualified to do the engineering of the individual projects
He's
under
what should be approving any and all
execution,
projects.
and see
And
and
the final say.
with that education behind him and that experience behind him, he would know the ramifications of their work and all
Mike's
of the
not an
fault.
engineer.
Okay, that's what I did not know.
He's
that.
called a deputy engineer, but he is no engineer.
All right, well, I just needed to know because I kind of suspect that he's undertaken some of this himself without the proper oversight of the county. I'll show you the trick. This piece of equipment that they brought out, it's not like a, you know, backhoe when you pick them up, they'll shake a little bit. This thing's real, I mean, it's in a big shaft. There's no play where it would shake, where you'd have room for air, where it would pick a tree or anything. You can see right here where they dug. This is after Mike Sheets told me. I talked to him when they came out. They started to shut our gas line off. So a family member called me and said, "You better come out." He said, "They're being very rude with me." So I said, "Don't talk to them. I'll be out." Well, he agreed. He said, "I'll just berm it for now," because I told him, I said, if you cut that bank out where you've got it, you're going to cause those trees to erode and fall. Because he talked about cutting them out before, and I said, "There's no need to cut them out." I said, "Let me talk to Canterbury and Archie." And before it was over with, he agreed that he'd let me. He said, "But eventually those trees are coming out."
Yeah, all these
I said,
trees?
"Yeah, he wants to take all these trees out." And So I told him, I said, you know, let me talk to them. So he finally agreed to let me talk to them first. He said, I'll just burn it today, Brad. Well, when I came home, this is what I find. He come clear out, he cut all these roots out, all these trees down through here. The bank is already, you can see how much the bank's eroded already. It's constant. I mean, this is the time of the year when they get the most erosion, and they know that. I mean, that's common sense. You can see up on the tree right here. Well, I'll show you several marks here. Clear up in here. For that piece of equipment to go clear over there, he'd have to back it clear back there and come over. You can see a mark there. It goes up probably about another 10 foot clear up the top of the tree where that broken branch is, where they had pushed on it. Is the only thing I can figure. Because the backside, you can see how much, see all the blood here? They call it bleeding out. Well, that's some, but this whole backside of this tree was wet. Where I know they broke the trunk. Yeah. They pushed on it several times to break the trunk. And then they'd come down, I got to noticing, you know, where they hit this tree so many times, look, it's already starting to rot at the bottom. And you can see what they did here, it's straight up and down. I said, there's no way that I know of to fix it. This bank used to come out like this and down, and they kept cutting like a C in it. Every year they'd cut a little bit more. And I thought, wow, they're cutting a lot. And then when they had it marked, you can see this right here. This piece of equipment is a shovel. Sides on it like this, and it just scoops like this. You can see, I mean, it's got a side here that scoops. The only way to cut that right there would be to angle it. That's no accident. You can see it's almost like a hatchet mark. Taking it at an angle.
So you think that's intentional, man?
Oh yeah. And I told Mike, this is intentional. You can see these soft spots on the sides of the road. This is where I got to. This is where Mike Sheets, when he came out and I saw it, Mike Sheets, the worker who was running the equipment that day, he told me he'd wait. He said, well, look at this, Brad. He said, water's laying here. I said, yeah. He said, it's because of the drain ditches. I said, are you being serious? He says, yeah. He said, we got to have good drain ditches. I said, Mike, I said, that's a soft spot. This is Mike Sheets. I said, that's a soft spot. He looked at me and shut up. He said, well, water's going to lay there. I said, of course it is. I said, you know, it needs patched. It needs fixed. Well, when Canterbury came out to look at it the next day, when Canterbury came out to look at it the next day,
our goal is that to keep it out of the forest. We want to be able to agree to have
well, we're going to
restoration.
forward it to Archie and see what he has to say. And that's
so,
all we can do right now.
Yeah.
We're just doing our steps that we need to do. You know, we're going to the first step. Yeah, if we got to go second step, third step, you know.
We'll
It's just
see
wrong.
if we can try to move it on.
It's bullying. There's no logic to what. And I think that's why Archie hasn't come out, because he can't justify what's done.